As they say, the travel industry has continued to evolve, focusing on sustainability, combining that with immersive experiences that travelers are looking for, and hence it gives birth to a new term, which is purpose-driven destinations or purpose-driven tourism.
But the mindset, as far as we're concerned, fine. We look at it two ways, the software and the hardware. What you do within the four walls of the property, good. You can introduce best practices. They're out there. But what happens beyond the four walls is extremely important as well, because the community is involved.
We as an operator really try to focus on the three elements which we know will be a cornerstone of any successful partnership, right? So the number one, the right location in the right market. Number two, the right brand, the right segment that we are proposing in line with not only with the owners, the vision, but also with the market dynamics. The last element, which we think the most critical among the three, the key elements of any successful partnership is really the partner that we are dealing with.
Like, would sustainability now become a big part of finding the right partner in this day and age?
Yeah, I think it's not just about the financial strength of a partner. I mean, basically for the major developer who is able to put up a hotel with a sensible financing scheme, I mean, they should be financially sound. I mean, otherwise we wouldn't have entered into any in-depth discussion. But it's just beyond the financial strength. We try to spend a lot of time at the beginning and really see that if there's the right the chemistry, the as well, but also the owners, the vision.
It is now not enough, as Cindy would say, to just build, right? As an isolated structure, a beautiful structure, no matter how grand. It now needs to be in relation to the place where it is, the city, the location, the community, the people.
With what we have in Mactan New Town, the township in itself is providing for sustainability with the amenities that it has to offer to complete what has been there for decades. Example, the amenities of the offices of BPOs. There are, it's a cliche to say it's just the employment that we're able to provide. Having having a school where our expats actually send their children to is part of sustainability, because you get to sustain the talents in the island because they can take care of their children. Part of the big sustainability contribution is being able to create a township that doesn't only focus on the live, learn, play, and work elements of the life cycle. It's a total ecosystem being considered. And all these considerations are part of making sure that we contribute to the community to make sure that the island itself gets to be equipped to make for not just for what we have today, but more on a master plan for the future.
It was all about the buy-in of the community, right? Working with the local government. As Cleo said, identifying the needs of the community in partnership with foundations. We bring in foundations. We created our own foundation called Save the Oceans, which worked with the local fishermen to try to get them to go away from the traditional dynamite fishing practices that provided them the livelihood for so many years, right? So we came in, it was an education that we had to provide, a lot of resistance at first, because obviously the livelihood was going to be taken away. So providing alternatives was very important. So once we got them to buy into that idea, then it became much easier. But it doesn't happen overnight, it's a process. As far as food sourcing, we try to do local. Again, to provide livelihood opportunities to suppliers of vegetables and just from the local community. I think that's important because it helps create that bond, that relationship between the property and the surroundings. As far as wellness is concerned, Carol is our spa director, wellness director, and again, it's hiring and training. Training is critical. You hire local, you train them up, and they become integral parts of who you are, right?
I think we're far from doing enough, right? I mean, to be transparent, right? So we as a global company started our ESG journey 20 years ago. Back then, we launched a program called Planet 21, which was basically about the eco-label, the certificates based on the relevant parameters. So we have encouraged the hotels to adopt more ESG, the environmentally friendly, the policies and all that. So that's how we sort of started. But back then, that was 20 years ago, probably the topic of the sustainability has not been as common as it is today. We have two big targets that we will strive to achieve. The number one is that to reduce the CO2 emission by 46% by 2030. And eventually, we want to go towards the net zero CO2 emission by 2050.
I really want to pose the questions to you guys. Does it really make financial sense? Because there are additional costs to engaging the community. There are additional efforts when it comes to time. You're thinking a bit broader, right? So now, if you can tell us, and to help convince other people as well, does it make monetary financial sense to the bottom line? Or are we looking into what we call now green accounting, which is taking into account non-pecuniary items?
There's no yes or no answer to that. As far as I'm concerned, it's not cheap. And the payback takes time. But it's not just all about the pesos and cents as far as we're concerned. It takes time to recover the investment, but the payback is just not financial. I mean, nowadays, based on the information, all the feedback that we're getting from the guests, they are looking for properties that are sustainable or that have a sustainability program in place, right?
It makes big financial sense, no question about it. And it's a choice. It's not a question of whether it is financially viable or not. It's a choice you make it doesn't only revolve around environmental efforts, authentic cultural experiences, and I just heard James say, let's be officers of Boracay. All these things, the synergy is part of sustainability, and it takes man-hours. It takes so much passion, and it takes so much patience to synergize everybody, because rather than sulking at the side, when there's limitations to marketing a destination, gather everybody, and that's sustainability. Gather, and there's always so much power in the synergy.
It certainly makes sense, right? And particularly for new development project, where you will have plenty of opportunities where you can explore the different options for the energy efficient building design or building management system or energy management system. I mean, there's a lot of technology that would help the developer and the owner to achieve a highly energy efficient the building at the development stage.
Enjoying that comes with it the responsibility of making sure the future generations get to have the privilege of traveling and enjoying these destinations in its best form as well. So thank you very much to our panelists, and thank you everyone.
Thank you.